Love the Lex Podcast conversation. How do you think the crypto space can help solve climate change and help halt and reverse the destruction of the natural world? Cardano's role therein. I think what you have to first do is to win the game, you have to change the game. So the problem we have is the lifestyles that we have are not sustainable in the biome we would like to live in. So let's be clear about something. There's people say, oh, to destroy the natural world. You can't really destroy the natural world. You can change it, but you can't destroy it. Long time ago, like asteroid hit the Earth and ended all the dinosaurs. And we've had mega eruptions like Yellowstone erupted. If a VEI 8 eruption goes, the whole climate will be irreparably damaged for generations. Okay. So you can change the state of affairs and eradicate the entire human race. Life will still go on. There'll still be bacteria and archaea, and there'll still be some notion of plants. And then over time, the biome will change and grow, and carbon will get sequestered, and things, and life will come back. We'll just be gone. So when we talk about destruction of the natural world, what we're really doing is saying we're changing the planet to conditions that we don't desire. Okay? So in that, we're already admitting some dominance over terraforming. The idea that we can change the entire global state. And really, if you wish to do that, you have to build systems that incentivize the global state you want. And capitalism, I would argue, is actually the single greatest tool to accommodate this. But you have to tune capitalism in order to get that outcome. So the current parameterization of capitalism is the short term is highly emphasized and the long term is not. Because we're finite beings, we die, and we want money now, not money later. Okay, so what you first have to do is you have to take a step back and say, can we construct a form of capitalism where you have multiple notions of value? Money now, like the conventional dollars in your pocket, and you can buy all kinds of things with that. But let's invent future money. Let's say it's from the year 2020, 2200, so 2200. Okay. And this is for a future version of yourself. So the only way you can earn it is doing things that make the conditions of a future version of yourself better educated, more desirable biome, all these types of things. Okay. Now suddenly, now you've created a different form of optimization where you are doing things that have zero benefit to you and maximal benefit for someone who comes that you'll never meet many generations down the road. But you need to do that in order to be able to spend that currency today so you can, let's say, buy a house or get ahead in life or do special things. Suddenly, capitalism will optimize. Everybody's an environmentalist. Everybody now wants everyone to get educated and grow up well. Why? Because they want to maximize the amount of money they're making. So they're forcing long-term concerns to become short-term concerns. So this is the kind of systems level tuning that we need to do in the 21st century for existential problems. Things like what CRISPR will do in synthetic biology and all these kinds of designer viruses and problems. If we're not careful, they'll kill all of humanity off by 2022. Same for artificial general intelligence. Maybe we make more money not pursuing that. So less people will, and the commercial signal will no longer be there. So we have to just change the way we think. The alternative right now is communism, or some form of heavy-handed socialism, where you hand the means of production over to a central entity and hope that they will adjust things so that we can preserve something. And that never works. I mean, if you really think it through, something as pervasive as climate change, to truly solve that, you need a regulator so strong that every factory, every individual, every nation state must bow to that regulator in some respect if that regulator decides what they're doing is running contrary to their belief on what will prevent this from happening. And I hate centralization. So I like the idea of using systems and incentives in just the right way that you can build basically a decentralized bottom-up approach to achieve the same ends. We want to reduce carbon. We'll create a marketplace where that's more profitable than creating it. It's economic tuning. And then you don't need top-down coordination. You don't need regulation and control. People just behave in their own self-interest. For example, if you could find a way to make solar panels and the base load power they connect to, the batteries and other things, cheaper than coal, for example, no one would build coal power plants. It's already cheaper on the generation side, but you still have to store it somewhere and build a grid for it. So that's more expensive, but that's getting cheaper. But if it's cheaper, people just do it because there's no supply chain, they're more reliable, it's easier to deploy and maintain, all of these types of things. Why would you want to spend more money for less? It's like powering steam engines with timber. Who in their right mind would go and clear cut out forests when that just makes no sense to do that? It's a lot cheaper to run it on a different fuel source. So this is the kind of thinking I think we need to do. Now, you ask about Cardano's role. Cardano is a systems level approach, and we're right now targeting a financial operating system, showing that there's a different way to do economic identity, showing that there's a different way to think about incentives and how economies are going to run. Once you do that, you can talk about regulation. You can talk about alternative economic systems, especially when we get to the CBDC side, because nothing stops me from creating two currencies, future currency and today currency. And nothing stops people from creating an economy where you have to earn both in order to live well. And then suddenly people are thinking about the future, like the Iroquois 7th generation idea.